Hello and welcome to another exciting edition of Capcom Confidential. I'm one of your hosts, Pete Fabiano.
I guess I'm the other host, but I'm not nearly as exciting. And my name is Matt Walker.
Hey, you're very low-key today, Matt.
I am. I got a cold. I went and I've been overseas a lot lately, and then I got back and I did my what we call the Kenko Shindan, right?
That has a name in English. It's called a medical checkup.
Medical checkup,
Yeah.
our yearly checkup. And I'm pretty sure I got sick there. I'm pretty sure there was somebody with a cold there because there's a lot of people getting their checkup done, like hundreds of people. It's kind of like, a corral of sick people that are, well, they're not sick, they're getting there. I'm rambling. Okay. So what are we doing, Pete?
It's a hell of an introduction we got going on today. Well, today we have, to start with our introduction and say thank you very much for listening. And we continue to enjoy doing this as long as you guys continue to enjoy listening. And we want to thank you for that. And also, we hope that you will subscribe and tell your friends so we can keep this up.
That's right. And you can find us on Twitter at dev1_official.
That's right.
That's an underscore for you.
I know. I'm impressed. You started with the underscore rather than the underbar.
That's right.
But let's get right to our special guest today.
All right.
Today we have Maki.
Yes.
That's right. It's the return of Maki.
Yeah, I'm back.
When we were on TGS, we were some friends from AMD who were big fans of Maki. We were really
I know.
excited.
We did have, you have quite a following, actually. Every time
Yeah.
I find a listener, they tell us how much they love your memoirs.
Yep.
And so we're now going to, we're happy to announce that they're back.
They're back. Maki's memoirs
That's
are back.
right. And
who
of
else
course,
is back?
well, he's not back. It's his first time on.
All right.
And his name actually is Gus. He has joined us all the way from Brazil. And he has quite the work history in the industry, which is pretty cool. And you are a programmer, is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah, so why don't we go right into your interview? And maybe we'll bring this up, make it a little bit more exciting, kind of raise the excitement levels. Everyone's so excited to talk to a programmer most of the time.
That's right. Raise the roof.
You're a
Raise the roof.
programmer. You were a programmer.
I was a programmer. I were a programmer, and I'm ready to raise the roof. I'm so excited right now, as you can tell. We should bring these guys a little closer to the mic. Let's
do
these guys
that.
a little closer to the mic. There we go.
Is this close enough?
There you go.
Yeah, that's close
Maki,
enough.
you too.
Yeah.
You come in.
You
a little
guys are
more.
pretty,
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Low volume. So.
I'm a programmer.
There
That's
you go. That's
Yeah, I
right.
know.
You
Yeah.
don't need to.
We don't
be
talk
proud.
much.
That's
Yeah,
right.
but you have a really good sense of humor, so that's
we
all.
drink a lot. That's probably why.
You drink a lot, is that right? Okay.
Well, coffee mostly,
Oh, no.
but you do what you can.
Okay.
So let's just go right into it, and I'll start with my line by saying, "What's your deal?"
Oh.
Which is basically my way of saying, how did you actually go about becoming a programmer? Is that what you wanted to do? And how did you end up in the gaming industry? I mean, it's a very broad question.
But you grew up. But let's start with where you grew up. You grew up in Brazil.
So
Yes.
ignore my question.
All right.
Yeah.
Ignore Pete's question.
We'll get there. It's
Yeah.
a path,
Exactly. So, grew up in Brazil, where I assume you got to hang out with people like Blanca from Street Fighter 2.
Yes.
That's
My good
He's
friends,
British, though.
Yeah.
that's right.
That's what they want you to think.
Right.
He's Brazilian. I know.
Well, he fell into Brazil or
Well,
something,
yeah.
right?
And he became Brazilian by falling into Brazil.
Right.
Is that how you came into Brazil?
I fell down from some place that I would rather not talk about.
Okay.
And then,
We don't have to talk about that. That's
I
fine.
got to Brazil, yes.
Where in Brazil you're from?
I'm from a city called São Bernardo do Campo.
Ooh.
It's a kind of small city next to São Paulo, the biggest city
Right.
in Brazil, yeah, so right around there. But I didn't live there very much because my parents work with the government, so we traveled a lot, quite a bit. So I never really had a home city. I'm
Okay.
a wanderer, man.
You say work with the government, it makes it almost sound like you were some sort of spy dealing with espionage.
No. They actually were trying to catch the people who were doing the shitty stuff.
Oh.
Also, can I swear on this thing? I don't know.
Of course.
Cool, because I'm like a sailor. But yeah, they work with the revenue agency kind of thing, trying to catch tax sheets and whatnot. So yeah, they did that.
So they were chasing after people that didn't pay their taxes.
Yeah, mostly.
So were they like certain, like, well, in the U.S. it's IRS, right? Internal
Kind
Revenue
of like
Service.
that, yeah.
So were they agents for them, kind of like
No, no,
pursuing
no, no.
these tax evaders?
No,
or?
no. They work with the institution and whatnot. And
I
just,
see.
I never really understood very much what they did.
So they were spies.
Well,
Exactly.
may have been, I don't know. It's redacted.
I see. All right, we'll cut that part out.
Yeah.
All right. So you grew up right near, or at least you were born near Sao Paulo.
Yep.
Sao Paulo.
Yeah, but I didn't really grow up there. I grew up in a city called Brasilia. the capital of Brazil.
Oh my God! Is the Brazil? Wait a minute. The capital of Brazil is really a place called Brasilia. That's awesome.
Because we made it that way. It didn't exist while Brazil existed.
Okay.
It's crazy people in Brazil, man. We do all sorts of crazy stuff.
Kinds of cool stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
Just so everyone knows, Gus's opinions do not represent
Yes,
Capcom more
there's
this
my
podcast.
yes. I meant crazy. I meant awesome.
There you go. See?
right.
Yeah.
Like the kids use it.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Tight. Yeah. That's what I meant.
It's tight.
So, growing up as a kid in Brasilia,
Yes.
what got you interested in programming?
Well, now we're going to jump to that? I thought we were going to talk about his early childhood for a moment.
Isn't that part of it? Is programming not part of it?
Kind of not at all. When I was a kid, I loved games and I loved Lego.
Okay.
Programming was not really a thing that I ever thought about in those days.
Okay.
But then as I got more into games, I started playing more of them, started playing some of them online, and I discovered modding, because, that was a big thing back when Quake 3 came out, making your own levels and stuff. So I got into that. It's like, wow, this is pretty cool. So I just enjoyed playing with games in that sort of way.
So my understanding is that games in Brazil, especially back when you were a kid, were super expensive.
Yeah.
Yes, they were, and they still are.
Right.
Yeah, that didn't really help. But I was fortunate my family was a little bit more well-off than usual.
Right.
So they could get me the games and whatnot. Yeah.
Okay.
And you were mostly a PC gamer?
I was a Nintendo kid
Oh, wow.
and then a PC gamer afterward. That's how I learned English, by the way.
That's cool.
Playing games.
From Nintendo games?
From-
Yeah,
I
the
got-
localization back then wasn't so good. So. And your English is amazing.
I mean, I got GoldenEye 007, right? And I
Nice.
was looking at the objective, minimize scientist casualty. Like, what the hell is this?
Yeah,
I
that would
kept
be.
killing them and failing the mission. And then I got a dictionary that says, oh, so this is what casualty means. So I was doing the opposite. Huh.
That's interesting. So you started with N64 then? Is that what you started with?
Well, I started off with something called Dynavision.
Okay.
Right.
was the Brazilian version of the Atari.
Exactly.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. Yeah,
All right. What year were you born?
1987.
87. Okay.
And for reference, in US dollars, how much would a Dynavision have cost?
I have no clue because that was a long time ago. But something more recent, well, and farther, when the PS2 was announced, it was costing something like $4,000.
Yeah.
Same for the PS3, the PS4. They're all incredibly expensive.
Why is that? Is there like some kind of, are there taxes on video game systems?
Yes, there are. That was from a partnership between Nintendo and the government. The main company there made a deal with Nintendo to sell their consoles here. And since they were friends with the government, they just said, okay, let's tax everyone else except you guys.
No kidding.
Yep.
Wow.
And then when that partnership ended, the taxes stayed, but now they also apply to Nintendo. So,
Wow.
problems, nah.
That's nuts. Okay.
Yeah.
Huh. But okay, so you played video games, you played like N64, and you liked Legos a lot. I mean, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Legos, like being able to build.
Yeah.
I mean, that's very much,
Yeah.
like
The
when they
building
teach
blocks of code, for example.
Yeah, and when actually very much so, because now when they teach like young kids how to code, right, they have
That's
like
right.
these kind of like building block
Yeah.
kind of program deals.
I had one of those called the Mindstorms back in the day, which was the first real Lego robotics set
Okay.
that had a very, very basic programming language, which was super annoying to use.
Okay.
Well, looking back now, I see like, wow, that was terrible. But it was what we had, and it was super cool. So that kind of got me interested in the technical aspect of things.
That's cool.
But at that time, I still wasn't thinking I'm going to be a programmer, make games. No. I was kind of not lazy-ish, kind of. I was trying to think of a career as like something that I can do that if I do it extremely well once, it's enough. So I got attracted to design.
Okay.
Yeah, because of this guy, James Dyson, the inventor of that Dyson
Yeah, I was going to
vacuum
say.
cleaner.
So the British guy.
Yeah, he made that and became a millionaire. So I thought, well, if I make one good product,
It took him a while, though.
it did. He
Yeah,
failed
he
a
was,
lot.
He was dedicated to making
was.
prototyping after prototyping to make the best Cyclone engine without a bag.
Yep.
And
Yep.
I know a lot about his history for some strange reason, but
And then selling that was another hassle because all the manufacturers made money off of the bags.
Right.
Why would they
Exactly.
get his stuff? And then he came to
Exactly.
Japan and sold it here, got the money, made his own company, and sold billions and
yeah,
whatnot.
it took off here first. Yeah, and it was
Yep.
this big thing. Like, and by big I mean the actual unit itself
Yep.
was quite large.
Yep.
But it didn't need bags, so people were saving money on the cost of bags in the end.
Yep.
Even though the cost of the actual device was
pretty expensive.
astronomical, right? But it was a premium device, and in Japan they tend to like that sort of stuff. So
Yep.
it took off here first, and then it took off in the rest of the world as he iterated on the design.
Yep.
That's
So
interesting.
that was my model. Like, if I can do something great once, it's enough, and I can do whatever the hell I want after that. So I studied design, and it was pretty cool. I got my BA in product design, and around that time, I also started playing with programming as well, because I got an internship at the programming department of the school, because I needed the scholarship because the school is expensive. So I got that internship. I started touching code more and talking about making games and trying my own thing. Back in those days, you didn't have Unity, you didn't have UE4. It was all
Right.
like very basic engine, so do it yourself. But still around that time, I wanted to be a car designer as well because that's super cool. I love cars.
Is that why you went into product design to start?
Yes, yes.
So
I
you
love
were hoping
cars.
to go into something like where you're actually designing parts or cars
Yes.
as a whole.
Yes, working for a nice big company somewhere in Europe, leave Brazil behind. I was thinking about that since a young age.
And why is that?
Because I don't really like life in Brazil so much. Things there are not very nice. Ever since growing up, I never really felt a part of the people there. Not in the sense that I was superior or anything like that. Just like,
Right.
yeah, this is not me. This is not who I am.
You mean the cultural side of things?
Yeah, the cultural side of things. The things that people liked there wasn't really the things that I liked. The things my friend did wasn't really the things that I wanted to do. So as a kid, I spent a lot of time by myself playing with Legos and playing games and whatnot, right?
Interesting.
Yeah. So I got into design to study car design. And at that point, there was a school in Sweden that had a very good program for that, for like a master's. So I said, hey, let's go to Sweden then, study some Swedish, see how it is, because the school is free there. Awesome.
Right.
I got there, and literally the week I get there is when they decided to charge for that school. So I'm like, well, that's a bummer.
Wait a minute. Had you not already registered at the school?
Not yet. That was before I graduated. So I
Okay.
would go there to get some Swedish experience first so I
Right.
can learn a little bit of the language
Right.
and see how the country is like, right? Because if
Right.
you move to a place you don't know, it's kind of complicated.
Yeah, makes sense.
So it was even a coincidence because one of my teachers there that was teaching us some things about movies, he actually was a teacher at that university. So he told me about it. He told me how to apply and everything. And then he also said, oh, well, from now you're going to have to pay and it's this much. Like, wow, that kind of sucks. So I came back to Brazil and then I was like, okay, what am I going to do now? Well, you know what? I like games. Let's do something with games. So I found a course for games in Vancouver. So yep, let's go there, study some game design.
And at this stage, about how old were you?
I was 23, 24.
Okay, so you've got quite a bit of education behind you already.
Yes, yes.
You've gone to school in Brazil.
Yep.
You ended up going to school in Sweden,
Yep.
and now you're going to Vancouver.
Yep.
Why Vancouver?
Because they had a school there called Vancouver Film School.
Right.
Which
I've been
was,
there, actually. Yeah.
which I read was very, very good for industry-oriented stuff.
Right.
It was a one-year program only, so, all your expenses would be a little bit more, not as crazy as if you went to some place that had a 4-year course or
Right,
something like
right.
that.
Makes sense, yeah.
And because I wasn't getting any younger, it was nice to get something done quickly.
Right.
But the main draw was that the people there were industry people. And as we all know in this industry, it's all about connections.
Yeah.
Man,
The
dude.
people you know, the people going to talk to you, the people that are going to talk about you to other people.
Yeah.
So I figured, okay, let's go there. So I went there. I really focused on the programming and the design side of things because I'm not really an artist,
Right.
That was also another problem that I had in product design. Lots of sketching lessons, right? My sketches were not good.
Nah, makes sense.
They were not. My 3D work was okay, but my sketching, it's like my hands were smashed with hammers. Didn't really work. But yes, so I got the school there. I learned quite a bit. And because I had some experience with 3D and now some experience with programming, a job opened up at EA Canada for technical artists. What do? Well, they blend arts and programming. Cool, maybe I could do that.
Nice.
Yeah, so I applied there. Apparently they talked with someone at the school who recommended me, so I got an
Great.
interview. And they liked me. And like, cool. So I started my industry there. Yay.
That's
And-
cool. And so was that literally like right after that year that you
Yep.
spent it? Man, that's amazing. So he's 24, 25 years old. It's like 2011 or so,
Yep.
right?
2012,
math.
yeah.
Every now and then. Every now and then.
The programming never gets out of you.
I know.
Right, exactly. Man, and just like that, you're able to get a job at EA. That's
Yep.
fantastic. That
is awesome.
That's inspirational, man. Like literally after just 1 year there to be able to do that.
Oh, yeah, but
Well,
then,
you all had all the other experience behind
yeah,
them as well.
and not only that, the EA wasn't the first resume I sent. I sent another 20 or 30 or
see.
so.
Of course.
So
I'm
that
sure.
was the one that really came out like, okay, cool, let's do this. And, once you get in, you stay in. That's what you do.
That's amazing. That's one of the important lessons too. I think for anybody that wants to get in the game industry is you're gonna get turned down a lot.
Oh yeah,
you're gonna get turned down a lot. Like you said, 20, 30, whatever, and then you got the one. Like you gotta keep going. You can't be
persevere. Don't give up.
You have to,
and really kind of know what you want to do. You know, it's not just about blasting. And what I mean by that is not, of course, like I know I want to be A, but know kind of the field or what it is you're kind of good at, know your strengths and your weaknesses and appeal to those.
Although, to be fair, I had another kind of, not really a secret card in the thing. So I actually had a friend who was working at EA at the time.
Right.
He was a producer on something. He wasn't involved in the process, but I asked him about the position. He said, what are they looking for? Oh, they want someone that knows a lot of Python and stuff. Like, okay, cool. I did some Python back in the day. That's kind of nice. So what I did was the week before the interview, I bought a book on Python. I started reading everything.
That was smart.
Nice, dude.
So I was ready for the interview.
Great.
I hadn't really done much in Python, but if you talk the talk.
But what you did that is also very important is that you prepared. And preparing
That's
for
completely
what
true.
the expectations are is very important. A lot of times people, what is the expression? If you don't know, just fake it or something like that. I mean, I don't recommend that every time, but definitely learning about the interview process, what you think is going to be there. I mean, these are all valuable pieces of advice.
And if I can add, also be a nice human being. I got the job at EA mainly because they liked me.
Nice.
They had other candidates who were more experienced than me, who were probably better for the job than me, but they weren't really a nice fit with the team, they felt. Whereas with me, they felt like, okay, this guy can be a nice guy. He can work well here. He can be friendly and stuff. I think he's going to marry well with the team. And they ended up being right because it was an awesome experience there. I had made many, many friends.
Well, when I was running global production, one of the things that I thought was very important, I've given talks on this, is looking at soft skills. Hard skills can be taught. Soft skills are very hard to teach. I'm not saying they're impossible to teach, but it's almost better, at least in my experience, to look at the soft skills and weigh them a little bit more heavily. Of course, you want someone with experience. That's going to be the ideal candidate, but given the pool of candidates that you have, soft skills are very important.
That's why we hired Maki, man. She had both of them. Hard skills and the soft skills, man. All that amazing experience, right?
Yeah, mostly the soft skills because her field that she's in now is something fairly new to her, I think, in terms of looking at production.
Maybe the specifics, but
she did have dev experience, right? Working with devs in Japan.
Exactly.
At Nintendo, right? We can say that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's in the past.
I was more on the platform side, not on the application side. So there are a lot of stuff that's new to me still.
But a lot of that day-to-day and a lot of that back and forth is something that I think she does.
Well, communication skills. Actually, I was listening to another podcast called the James Altucher Show, and they had someone on from LinkedIn. And I tweeted about this, actually, but I think it's pretty important. And I always thought it, and it was nice to hear it from someone at LinkedIn to say that, communication skills are actually quite high up on the ladder in terms of what employers are looking for.
I bet.
And I never, because it's not easy, right? You've talked about this. It seems like it is like, hey, you and I are talking right now, but actually relaying information and understanding the person, there's a level of psychology there, sociology, understanding what's going to be persuasive. Those are all skills that are very valuable no matter what field you're in.
It's taken for granted, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I know I always took it for granted until I started working with you. And then I kind of learned from you how important it was. And ever since then, it's kind of like been
Not
my
your
mantra.
boss anymore. It's okay.
I know, but so it's like, it's true.
No,
though,
thank you.
And it's been my mantra ever since then, We were talking about that in an interview just yesterday, right? So,
Right.
Yeah. But man, okay, so it was like you're saying, because you're a nice guy and because you were a good fit, they hired you on.
Yep.
And you got in there, and what did you start doing?
So they pretty much just dumped me with the old pipeline for the art for FIFA, right? Because we were moving on to the new console at the time, it was still a secret. So we still had all the pipeline set up for the Wii, for the PS2.
Okay.
I think
For the PS2?
It was one of the last games released on the PS2 was FIFA 14.
No kidding.
Yep, and I was overseeing that art pipeline. Yeah, it was a long time ago. But so that and also helping interact with the artists as well, which was also partially why they selected me, because since I was kind of okay with communication,
Right.
and because a lot of the job as a technical artist is making the bridge between programmers and artists,
Right.
you got to learn to speak both languages and talk within them, right? So I also did lots of tools for the artists to help them improve their pipeline. which was pretty great. Although they did make some requests sometimes, which were kind of like, no, that can't be done. I want a button that does everything.
That can't be done.
Yeah.
I mean,
Or you
I wish I
guys-
could do that, but
I hear from programmers a lot about how they'll get requests from artists for stuff, and then it's like the artists get what they want, and then they're like, you know what? Actually, I don't like doing it this way. Like we did that. We had that with some cloth physics, where our artists are much like, we want to be able to do like these simulated cloth physics, and they need to do these physics simulations, and they do it, but then they get it from the programmers, and they're like, you know what? This actually isn't what I expected. I think I'm just going to keyframe it. And like that happens like all the time.
Oh, yeah.
That kind of
I
stuff.
remember a story of we had a bit of a lecture on a project management tool, and one of the people in the room raised their hand and said, okay, I have a question. I was like, yeah, so can we use this tool so it will allocate staff members for us? And everyone looked completely baffled, like, no, like what kind of level of AI are we thinking here?
but that's true. But that's something also that I learned because of product design. In product design, you're not just designing products in a vacuum. You're getting information from the client about what they want or what they think they want.
Right.
Nice.
And you have to listen to that and get the information there. Like Henry Ford said, if he listened to what their customers were saying, he would have made a faster horse.
Nice.
But he listened to what their needs were, and that's how he could fulfill them. So I tried to do the same thing with technical art, which was a very good mesh for my skill set. And yeah, I released FIFA 14, which was pretty great. And then I worked a little bit on NHL 15 right at the beginning as well, automating some pipelines here and there. I did some really cool stuff there. Like I remember one of my scripts, it was opening the mesh in Maya, then taking out like the some of the maps in there, and then transferring that to another program, opening that up, making another processing there, then open everything up in Photoshop, passing a bunch of actions in there, and saving everything into the asset browser for the artist. They just had to press a button.
Nice.
They could select 10, 100 players, and they would just do them all at once,
automate.
saving a lot of time for them. I was pretty
awesome.
happy about that.
When you were working on these titles that like were like PS2 Wii quality, did you guys actually automate the process of like converting like those? So for instance, those players, converting those player meshes to something that was going to be basically lower polygon count for the Wii and the PS2 from the PS3 version?
For that mesh specifically, no.
Okay.
The game at the PS2 at the time was the same game it was 15 years ago. There were no updates being done to that level, but what we did was we had a pipeline where the artist would make the art for the Xbox One and the PS4, and then it will go through all this processing that will automatically make the PS3, the PS2, the Wii, the Xbox 360, all those versions at once.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So eventually you did get to a point where you had one high resolution asset, and then that would basically automate.
Be edited down.
That's amazing. That's
Really cool.
That's really cool, man.
Saved a lot of time. Like working at EA was awesome because they really do work like clockwork. Everything is all designed, defined pretty well. There's all the process in there that have been tried, that have been tested, and they're always trying to get a little gain here, a little gain there. Yeah. And it's super awesome. Yeah, people there are also super cool too.
That's really cool, man.
Yeah.
That's nice.
That's really cool. So you're working on FIFA, you're working on NHL. What happens after that?
So after that, my visa expired because, I'm not a Canadian guy, sadly.
Sadly.
So much easier. Yeah, 13, man.
Oh, Canada.
Our home and native land.
Exactly.
But not really. So after that, my visa expired, so we had to leave. Around that time, I had met my now wife, and we were thinking, okay, where are we going to go next? She's Japanese as well. So we went to Brazil for 4 months to figure out the future, and we say, let's go to Japan, just stay there with your family, and I can find something, whatnot. So we came to Japan. I worked there. I worked here, another company for a couple of months. And then
What were you doing there?
I was doing systems design.
Okay.
It was more of a localization company. So they were trying to move into making games as well, or editing games and whatnot. So they needed someone for that kind of work. But right after that, I got an opportunity with Square Enix in Tokyo to be a technical artist again. Like, okay, cool. Yeah, I like technical arts. Let's go there.
Cool.
Yeah. So I went. It was pretty great as well because I got to get the end there of Final Fantasy 15.
Nice.
One of the most anticipated games
Oh, yeah.
because it took a long time into production. And yeah, I got there as well. There was already a lot of pipeline work already being done with some really, really good tools. So it was just easy to just get in there and start running.
That's really cool, man.
Yeah. And I was lucky that I got in at the Advanced Technology Division, which had a lot of foreigners there. So my Japanese being kind of terrible wasn't really a massive barrier. We had some support in there that really helped out.
Nice.
Yeah. Also because of that, I could also work on pretty much all the games we had in there. I helped some people out on Dragon Quest 2.
Oh, cool.
Cool.
Not Chu as in...
As well.
Yes.
You mean the Dragon Quest that just came out in the
Yes.
States?
I won the
11.
special thanks there for some reason.
11, right?
I'm like, oh, cool.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it feels nice. Feels all loved and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool. And after that, I was kind of moved over to general programming because we were working on a VR title called Project Hikari, one of the first VR titles Square Enix was making, which is also cool.
That's something that actually came out, right? We're not like, this isn't like...
It came out.
Yeah.
Okay,
It came
We're not talking about material here.
No, that's only Final Fantasy 20. That's
Oh, no.
Yeah, of course.
No, but yeah, so I worked on that a little bit, and then I moved over to Square Enix Osaka because me and my wife wanted to come back to Kansai, which is her home area.
Right.
And over there, I was working as an AI programmer on Kingdom Hearts 3, which was also another big title to be released.
Wait. So you made a jump from doing, let's say, so systems, you were a technical artist, and now you're doing AI.
Yes,
That seems like quite a jump.
it is. It is, and it isn't.
Okay.
Because in programming, things are very, very similar. Once you get the process of programming stuff, you can pretty much program anything, except for very, very specific stuff like graphics and low-level API, which for me, it's magic.
Well, I mean, all that stuff too, right? It's very much, it's just having that knowledge, right?
Yep.
Because like you're saying, in the end, I mean, you're still, writing all these statements
Yep.
and stuff and all the
Yep.
logic, but it's just how well do you know the underlying architecture for all that, for that rendering pipeline?
Yes,
right?
that's
really
true.
what
That's
it
very
is.
true. But then you look at, shader language. It's wizardry. I have. It's super crazy. Like, oh, look at all that, and this comes out, huh? I believe you.
That is amazing, man.
That's amazing,
That
yeah.
is amazing. I do look at stuff like that these days. Like every now and then, like I'll look at like something and I'm like, all right, I'm sure that this, like back in the day, I'd look at a statement and go, okay, I know what this statement means. I know what this statement means. Now it's like I look at the statement and go, I know the statement is doing something, but the hell if I know what it is, Yeah.
It's magic, man.
Oh, it's cool. Shaders.
But yeah, I've been jumping around quite a bit. And after that, I still changed again. I did some automation work on the pipeline over there,
Okay.
which was also something completely new as well. But that lends to my background as a product designer because we learn how to divide things into processes and how to figure out the steps and get things done. Programming essentially is that. You have this, you want to end at this. Figure out the middle. So you go
Right.
step by step and you get there.
Yeah, you break it into modules, right?
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
Into steps. That's really all it is.
Yeah.
And you just take it one step at a time.
Yep.
Right? That's really all it is.
Just keep
Just like
trying
life,
and error. Yeah,
Exactly. Very much so.
that's true. That's true.
Actually, at the risk of sounding extremely corny, but I mean, you are supposed to have an end goal, and you're taking steps to get to the end goal. I mean, that is kind of a lesson for many things.
You will have some loops here and there that will kind of be kind of annoying. You're stuck in a dead-end job. Well, just get out of that loop.
Right.
Find your breakpoint in there.
Yeah, put in the breakpoint. There you go.
To get out of there.
Oh man, life lessons with Gus.
I know.
Life is like
And programming.
It's all about zeros and ones, actually. if you
It's
think
very
about it.
binary.
Yeah, it's all
Yeah.
binary.
All binary.
Yeah.
Nice, man. Cool. So you're working on Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yep, which
at
was super cool.
Squeenix.
Square Enix Osaka.
Cool.
Yep.
In Osaka. And when you moved over to Osaka, how do you feel having now lived in both Tokyo and Osaka? Which do you like more?
Well, I live in Kyoto, actually.
Having
He's
lived
going
in
highbrow
Tokyo-
on you.
How, having lived in Tokyo and
I live in
Kyoto.
Kyoto.
I don't live with the commoners in Osaka.
I live with
Actually,
the aristocrats.
I prefer Kyoto 1,000 times more than Tokyo.
All right. Tokyo and Osaka, though.
Osaka.
All right.
Of course he does.
Yeah.
He's more of it. He's Latino, so
Yeah.
he's gonna have a little bit more of the Osaka flair.
Yeah.
The Osaka flair.
They're like the
Hola.
Latino or Latin-blooded. Like they're like the Italians of.
But that is very true. Like I see people here jaywalking all the time. I
Exactly.
very rarely see that in Tokyo.
That's the Latino connection. They jaywalk.
Well, yeah,
Disregarding lights.
we don't care for that kind of stuff. We just go. See an opening and we go for it.
Oh, nice. All right, I see that. I can dig. I can get behind that.
Tokyo people don't do that. They don't jaywalk.
Well, I mean, I don't think we can
rarely
generalize
as
to that
much.
level, but
Yeah.
not as much.
Yeah, I feel like I see more. I mean, I feel like I see more jaywalking over here. Yeah, come to think of it,
It's so natural for me.
To jaywalk, right? Yeah, I know.
Well,
Like,
that's
why
'cause
would you wait for a light? That's just.
she's got
There's an opening. Go.
that
But
Latina connection.
I have seen, like, in mountain roads, people stop at a
Oh,
light
yeah.
where there
Wait
are
for the
no
light.
cars for
Oh,
miles.
Yeah.
Yeah, see,
It's crazy.
we will never do that in Brazil.
No.
At nighttime, especially, it's getting dangerous to stop in a stoplight. So you just look around and just go
That
for it.
makes sense.
Right.
That
You don't
makes
want to get carjacked.
No, you don't want to do that.
So is that for real? Like, that's a
Yeah,
thing?
it's a
What,
real.
getting
Yeah.
carjacked?
Yeah, like, don't stop. I've been told.
Yeah.
If you're ever in, excuse me, Sao Paulo, or if you're in Brazil, do not stop at a red light at night.
Yep.
Just go.
That's why
And I always thought it was just some kind of, like, myth or
Oh,
something.
no, it's real. After I think 10 p.m. or so, some of the lights turn off and just become the blinking.
Yeah,
yellow.
exactly. That's what they
people
told
know
me.
it.
But
yeah.
what you should do is, as you're coming across to a stoplight, slow down. So
Right.
you don't have to stop at it and it turns green so you can go through. But yeah, just be aware of your surroundings. It's number one skill.
Oh, okay. So, your number one skill after Kingdom Hearts 3 was what?
Yeah. Well, not getting carjacked in Brazil, I suppose.
Right on. It's a
Yeah,
good
but
skill to have.
So at Kingdom Hearts, I did a lot of AI there as well, helping set up the systems for the battle system as well, which is super cool. And then I moved over to doing some automation for the pipelines as well, so you can get builds done faster, builds done quicker, test, because Unreal has a very cool testing system that you can launch it and test all the scenes that you want to do a bunch of tests on them. But it's kind of annoying to set up. But once you do set it up, it's super awesome, super useful.
Nice.
And then after that, I got a little bit tired of working, and I came over to Capcom.
Okay.
Wait.
Well,
I got
okay.
tired of
I'm tired of
working,
working,
so
so I
I'm
was
just
like,
going
I'll
to
go
give
to
up
Capcom.
working and work at Capcom. Wait, not work at Capcom. Just going to go
the
there.
equivalent of not working, Hey.
Well, how did you actually get in here? Did you apply? Did
I
you have
applied.
someone? Okay.
Yeah, I did have a friend who worked on Monster Hunter.
Okay.
He was a producer there, so I asked, I want to apply there. What do you think of here's my resume. Like, oh yeah, there's probably some people here who want to talk with you, so just apply, and they will select your resume or something. Like, cool. That's what I did. And they called me pretty quickly. It's like, hey. I had my interviews. It was awesome.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's
I
good.
was super relieved that they had someone in the interview who could translate stuff for me if I needed it.
Right.
Nice. Oh, wow, that's good.
I
You do that kind of
didn't
stuff.
need to use it so much, but just having someone there makes me a lot more confident in
Of
speaking
course.
Japanese, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
That or alcohol, but you can't drink on interviews. So
Yeah.
Probably
Yeah.
shouldn't.
Not
Probably.
yet. Anyway.
Not yet.
Maybe in the future
Yeah.
we'll work on
at a
that.
higher level or something.
That could be part of the test.
Do you take the drink of the beer on the desk?
That's right.
And you only pass if you do.
Yes.
Is that how it's going to work?
Yeah,
I don't know.
you know,
I don't know.
you know,
What are you thinking?
Inhibitions, I mean, it really comes down to, are you going to inhibit yourself or not?
Before or after the beer?
Both. Both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now you're on the technical team.
Yes,
Right.
I'm on the RE Engine team
Right.
doing AI systems that are used in all of our cool games.
Is there much of a difference in what you're doing in AI now that you were doing back at Squeenix?
Yes.
Yeah.
At Square Enix, I was doing mostly the character AI itself, building their behavior
Okay.
trees and lining up some of the stuff. But here I'm building the systems that the programmers and the game teams will use to make their game AI.
Cool.
Yeah.
Ooh, even more high level.
Higher level, yeah.
Yeah,
Building
that's cool.
hierarchies.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a lot more challenging work as well because sometimes you're working on the cutting edge of things. There aren't much reference out there for what's being done or how it's being done.
Right.
You have to read tons
Innovate.
of papers. Yeah.
That's cool.
which is super
That
cool.
is cool. That is
Yeah.
cool. That's a fun part of doing programming. How's the language barrier then? I mean, I assume that you've gotten better at Japanese
Yes.
since you've moved here.
Yes.
Do you basically just work with those guys in Japanese, or?
Yes.
I mean, the programmers tend to have a fairly decent handle on English, right? Because
They
obviously we
do.
use a lot of English.
They do,
programming, right?
but in here it's all Japanese.
Okay, so
All
you
the
just
emails
talk
and
to
stuff,
everybody in
yeah.
Japanese, all the
They
emails, yeah.
tend to slow down when talking to me when I'm having some question about something.
Okay.
And my boss is super awesome because if it's something important, he will always email me later
Nice.
the contents of what we
that's
discussed,
nice.
so I can reference it. Right?
Nice. That's really great.
Really, really
Keeps us-
helpful.
That's great. Good
Yeah.
deal. So there you go. Anyone that wants to program in Japan, come to Capcom.
Yeah.
Give
We'll
us
have
a
you.
call.
Give us a call.
Yeah.
I don't know where they're going to find our numbers.
That's part of the test.
Well, part- exactly.
Wait, better idea. Look at the webpage and see if there's any openings and write the HR division.
what
Don't
we're
call
doing.
me or you.
Don't call us. I mean,
Yeah.
we can't hire you. But
Yeah, I meant Capcom. I just wanted to make that clear.
yeah, there you go.
I think they got it now.
All right, good. Were we clear enough?
Maybe.
Communication. See, it's hard.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's not rocket
Nice.
science.
Nice. And you've been enjoying yourself here? People are good?
Yep. People are very nice. People are very friendly.
The food is good?
Well, I always go to the combini.
Well, I want to know why you find Kyoto to be the pinnacle of living.
The pinnacle of living.
I didn't say that.
Okay, well, you said it's like 1,000 times better than Tokyo.
Oh yeah, because I
so-
don't live in Kyoto actually. I live in Uji. That's
Ah.
a
Okay.
small town right below. So
Very good tea.
The tea.
amazing
The
tea.
green tea.
But I like living there because it's a smaller town. It's very peaceful. I don't have to worry about anything.
You
People
can pretty
are-
much say that about any town in Japan, though.
Oh yeah, but still, I get out of my window and I can look on one side. There's the rice fields. On the other side, there's the mountains.
That's pretty awesome.
Nice.
The train I take here is above ground. I go from the Keihan line. I can see the mountains on one side. I can see the sea on the other side. And I can see awesome sunsets. In Tokyo, I was always taking the underground stuff. So it's okay, buildings, and then underground, and buildings
crowded.
again.
Yeah, that happens, yeah.
Even if you take the above line, like the Yamanote line, it's still super crowded and
Right.
lots of buildings everywhere. It's kind of, not my style.
Right.
Although I do prefer city more than countryside.
I like the buildings. I think the buildings look nice.
Wait, how do you prefer city when you're talking about all these idyllic images?
Right?
Yes, because
Like,
I prefer
what
the
is-
blend of the two.
He needs variety.
Well,
damn
then
it.
Osaka's perfect for you.
Variety.
Because Osaka's kind of a...
There are no mountains in Osaka.
Yeah, it's also
Well, technically there's Ikoma, right?
Well,
That's in
but
Nara.
That's Nara, sorry.
But I
My
mean,
bad.
you know-
I can see it from my window, that's why.
right here, like in this.
Like on this building or like under the building, I mean?
Exactly. There are a couple trees, but there's not a whole lot of trees.
Yeah, Ikoma's Nara. But there are mountains here, aren't there?
I've seen mountains.
In Osaka, isn't it?
Pretty
Osaka
far away.
prefecture.
In Osaka.
There's like Mino area.
Yeah, that's a
I
mountain.
guess. That's a
mountain?
mountain. Yeah,
Kinda.
kinda.
It's like a hill.
Is it a hill?
Yeah, Americans say that about Japanese mountains.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in that case, yeah. But no, I mean, well, compared to like the Appalachians or the Rockies, yeah. But
But
I mean,
Osaka does mean big hills, I guess.
it does.
There you go.
So there
That's
you
a
go.
good
It's hill.
point. Oh
City is a
man,
mountain.
big factoid from Gus there. Osaka means big hill,
Yep.
and now you know. And
Even
knowing
though the city is super flat, but somewhere there's gotta be a big hill.
I don't know. Tanimachi has a lot of hills.
Yeah.
Tanimachi,
Is that why it's called the Tanimachi?
That's what Tanimachi does mean. Not Tani's Valley, so it's
Valley,
Valley.
yeah.
Valley City.
So there's like a bunch of
You know.
slopes and stuff.
Valley Town.
Valley Town,
I guess
yes.
it'd be. Oh, it's like Hill Valley. That's what-
Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, maybe that's why it's called that.
Yeah, there's a lot of hills there. Like getting home, there's a lot of hills.
It's not like San Francisco, though.
Not like San Francisco. No, San Francisco's hills are steep, man.
Yeah.
Those are some steep hills.
There's tons of them.
It's probably expensive to live out there now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So do you have a home out there in Kyoto?
We are now living with my wife's family because they have a nice home there. They renovated part of it for us because they want us close to them.
Nice.
But we're thinking in eventually sometime getting our own place somewhere because housing here in Japan is much cheaper than in
Right.
Vancouver.
Oh, it's
Exactly.
crazy.
It's crazy,
I mean,
man.
every time I go back to the States and visit my family, I'm just amazed at how much more expensive it keeps getting.
I know,
Inflation
everything.
just keeps striking, whereas we're stuck in like, what, 1985 prices or something, when I used to think they were super expensive and now they're not.
Yep.
It is pretty crazy.
I mean, yeah, like salaries here are commensurately lower than the States.
Yeah.
Right.
But I mean, everything else is cheaper here, kind of.
Comparatively speaking, right?
Healthcare especially.
Yeah, healthcare is amazing.
How's healthcare in Brazil?
We do have universal healthcare there.
Right, that's what I thought.
And it in
is
some
something that
places
people
it's
pull up.
pretty well funded, so we
Right.
do get good service. In other places it's not,
Yeah.
so we do have lots of lines and stuff. So it's a work in progress, right?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people, that's a big hot button issue in the
Yeah.
States, right? But it's interesting to see other nations, and you see words like socialized or universal healthcare, but they're always. I don't know. It's always a little bit. 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 It's always a let's say, caveats to some of that. But in Japan, I have to say, it's pretty great.
It is great.
Yeah, there's...
Except for when you catch a cold, when you go to the Kenko Shindan, the yearly checkup. That's the only thing that's not great.
Well, that's because you're herded in through like cattle, right? I mean, it's just, you go in, you get your heart checked, you go into the next thing, you get an x-ray. It's really... But in Japan, it's amazing because in the States, it's not like your company pays for you to go get a health checkup every year.
Right, I know.
So
we're super lucky. And I guess maybe that's part of the reason that we have like some of the longest average lifespans in the world. In Japan, right?
It's really good about that.
Yep.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
The thing about like the system in Japan though is like people go to like hospitals for just their cold.
This is one of the problems, right?
Yes.
Because that starts to raise costs on that side. Whereas especially elderly people, they tend to go
hang out.
Yeah, I mean that's a common criticism. I don't have any data on this, but it seems that the common criticism seems to be that a lot of them will go there because they're lonely, let's say, or because they just want to spend some time away from home, or they, you catch a little cold. I do sometimes have small arguments with like family members, and we're like, "Oh, you're sneezing. You should go to the hospital." I'm like, I think that's a bit egregious. I'll just take some medicine.
I have the same problem with my family.
Really?
Yeah.
They're like, hey, you need to go to the hospital.
Yeah,
You're like,
I don't want to.
It's a sneeze. It's not a big deal.
And to Americans, going to the hospital is like, oh my God, are you dying?
Right, exactly.
Because you go to the doctor maybe, but not to the hospital.
Exactly.
The ambulance ride alone will...
Yeah, you're going to be in the hospital after you see the bill.
That's true, man. That's true. All right. So, anything else you have to say about Capcom?
Super cool place. We're making some very good games recently. It's pretty good.
Yeah, we're lucky.
People are really enjoying the stuff we're putting out. You had Biohazard 7, you had Monster Hunter, now Biohazard 2 and Devil May Cry.
Yeah.
It's going to be pretty good stuff.
Yeah, we're pretty lucky,
Yep.
Yeah, we're
Things
pretty
are
excited.
going well right now.
Yep.
Yeah, man.
Buy them, guys.
Keep us employed.
Praise the AI.
Praise the AI. That'd be great if somebody actually listened to this and then in some review article.
The AI is amazing.
Props to the AI guy.
There'll be a tear in my eye.
But is your AI stuff even being used on RA2
Yes.
or DMC5? Is it?
Yes.
No kidding. I didn't know that.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
They are.
That's really cool.
Some of the changes that I made to the systems that we have are being used there. And some of the stuff that I've been working on are used in secret stuff.
Yeah,
That's
I would
also pretty
imagine.
cool.
I would imagine.
Really cool stuff coming up.
Nice. All right.
Nice. Well, thanks so much for being here, Gus.
Thanks for having me.
Today, you are fortunate enough to be part of Maki's memoir.
Yes, the return. The return. Of
So you were going to get to read a chapter
Oh,
in her journal entry
Cool.
or memoir entry.
cool.
Who should we start with, Maki?
Start
First she's
with this,
gotta read.
please.
Whoa,
gotta
look
read
at
the
this. You
disclaimer.
printed it out.
I went digital this time because I've been
digital
handwriting my memoir, but
I wish everyone could see the font because it's a really nice font.
Oh, that's
And in
nice.
huge letters,
That
it
is
says
not Wingdings.
disclaimer.
Yeah.
So you know what, Gus? I'd like you to do the honors and read the disclaimer.
I thought Maki read the disclaimer.
Oh, yeah,
That's how this works.
no, that was the deal. I'm not gonna read any of
okay.
that.
I didn't read anything. Okay.
Nothing. Okay.
Cool. So, disclaimer. This diary contains Maki's raw thoughts, and due to English being the writer's second language and the nature of the content, R-rated, this diary may contain content which can be considered not appropriate for broadcast on the podcast. Readers,
Nice.
read at your own discretion. Cool.
Broadcast on the podcast.
That's right.
Yeah, I like it.
All right. I'll take the first entry then.
All right.
8/23, August 23rd, 2018. I take a train to commute. This will change hopefully soon because I got a bike.
I got a bike, yes.
This morning, I was sitting in a train. At a stop, a woman I've never seen got on and took a seat in front of me. She was one of those people who make people around her feel uncomfortable and uneasy. She kept staring right at me, and it made me feel that I should have my guard up. I had a feeling that if I make eye contact, she will start speaking to me, so I almost instinctively crossed my eyes, staring at the door next to me where she was sitting, while still keeping her in my peripheral view. I could vaguely see that she was still leaning forward and looking at me. But after a while, she gave up and sat back. I kept my eyes crossed until the train got to my station. Phew! This was kind of a stressful morning. Got an email saying our office is going to be shut down due to a strong typhoon approaching our area. Yay! I could see the mood of the entire floor lightened up right away. Today turned out to be a great day.
Hey, typhoon day!
Woo, typhoon!
We're all going home.
Whoa, we might die.
That's great. So you never found out what the deal was with that woman, huh? The woman on the train?
No. I never seen her again since then.
Yeah.
But so what was it about her that kind of set you off?
Like, so she was like sitting right in front of me, and she was saying like leaning forward to me and doing this.
Like that? Wait, well, no one can see that. So let's say
Okay,
basically
yeah, that's right.
Maki is leaning forward and almost kissing Matt at this point.
Not that close.
Well, okay, yeah.
It is
Let me
that
clarify.
close.
They would be kissing if there was about 2-3 people in between them.
There you
They
go.
kissed
About that.
through those 3 people.
Kiss chain. But she was like leaning
Leaning forward
looking at you.
and basically staring like,
Staring
right
at-
into your eyes.
Maybe
Yeah,
she was like, she wanted to know if you were someone she knew. Maybe
she
thought
wanted-
you were Maki, and she was like, I know Maki.
Yeah, I know that voice.
You know?
I've seen that voice
Could've been
before.
that, yeah. She recognized you from the podcast. I've seen that
Yeah.
voice.
So yeah, that made me really uncomfortable, and I didn't want to make an eye contact with
Right,
her.
right.
So I closed my eyes. I can do this well.
Wow, that's...
Oh, you were there crossing your eyes.
Yeah.
I was wondering if that's what you got.
So basically you tried to make
I did this.
yourself seem a bit unstable. Is what you're
Yeah,
saying. Okay.
kind of.
Because
But
you were also moving your head in a weird way. So it wasn't just about
So
crossing the eyes.
it's-
Twitching.
I was just like looking like not at her, but the door next to her.
Like
so,
beyond her.
Yeah, next to her.
Okay.
So I could still see her. So I would know what like she was up to.
that's smart.
So I
Either way,
didn't want to.
You didn't want her to, not that, anyone that actually has crossed eyes, there's not to make.
No. Just,
Just
with
that
the
you
added
just wanted
movements.
You
Yeah.
just wanted to do what you could to get her to switch her focus elsewhere. Huh?
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
Interesting.
Smart.
No. So yeah, you just basically wanted to make it seem like you were not interested in having any type of discourse or conversation with this woman.
Well, my immediate goal was to not make an eye contact with her.
Right.
That makes sense. Yeah. So it's
Okay.
it's
Which is
more
why
not
you
to make
basically
eye
crossed your eyes, so
contact.
she couldn't even figure out what you were
Yeah,
looking
there
at.
you go.
Yeah.
Can't,
Okay.
can't
And
have eye
as a
contact.
result, it's like a byproduct of doing this.
There you go.
I looked kind of weird.
Well, because you kept moving your
But
head
that
like that.
wasn't-
That was kind of weird.
That wasn't my main goal, though.
Oh, I
She was
see.
just-
I
think
see.
she was just showing us. So I don't think she actually moved her head like that.
Oh, okay.
Well, all right. So well, you have a bike now.
Yes, I do, and
So
it
soon.
is still sitting in my room.
Wait, the
Like
bike
in the
is
middle of
in
your room,
your
like
house?
in your living room or
Yes.
something?
It's an
Yes.
art installation.
Ah, right. So it's like an objet, as they like to say.
It's the mise en scene of her room is set by the bike.
I
Is it in
see.
a box or something?
No, it's out of the box now. But since we had like a few big typhoons,
Yep.
I didn't want to leave it outside in the parking space.
Yeah.
Smart.
And I have to practice riding.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Maki can't ride a bike.
Oh, no, sorry. She can ride a bike.
can't turn.
She can't turn on a bike. So you can go straight, but you can't go right
Oh,
or
we
left.
so need to do a
Right,
video
right.
where we're teaching Maki
Or
how
a
to ride
GIF.
a bike.
We just need a
A
gift.
GIF would be fine too.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, I forgot.
Get waivers though, because
And another thing is though with the bike, the seat is set like too high for me.
Okay.
So my plan was to, ride the bike to a bike shop and get it registered and buy the locks and stuff.
Right.
But because I can't ride it, I can't go to the store.
Okay.
So
Okay. Well, that's understandable.
I'm kind of stuck there.
Okay.
So I have to figure out a way to, bring the seat down a little bit.
All right. Well, I'm looking forward to finding out how the bike thing's going to go. But let's move on to August 29th, shall we?
Let's do it.
All right. August 29th, 2018. The company does the annual employee health check, and today was my health check day. I had totally forgotten about it when Troy reminded me this morning. I wasn't supposed to eat anything before the blood test, since eating will affect your blood sugar level. Well, I only had a small breakfast this morning, so naturally my stomach started growling around 10:30. with my tummy screaming for food. Telling me not to eat was the same thing as telling me not to work. So the choice was easy. I pulled out a bag of chocolate-flavored cornflakes from my drawer and poured milk into my mug. Lunchtime came around, and it wasn't an option for me to skip lunch or wait till the health check was over. Went out to get a bento. Ate 2/3 of it at my desk. I was in the 3 o'clock slot for the health check. Went to the large conference room to get checked. Everything went fine, except for the blood test. It didn't go as smoothly as I had wished. I could feel the nurse wiggling the needle in my arm, trying to find a blood vessel, and it took way longer than to get bruises on and told me to keep a band
you
around. I may have skipped something. Let's see here. Way longer than... Either that or it didn't. I don't think it printed out.
Maybe not. Let's
Really?
just go.
Yeah.
Huh.
You just got bruises on your arm now.
But yeah, now you got bruises on your arm. So we're going to move on to the bruises. So, unless this is this is double-sided, right? All right. To get bruises on and told me to keep a band around the arm to keep the pressure on the spot for 10 minutes. Other people were told to do so for a minute or two.
Oh.
So we can theorize like what came in between those two sentences. Whew, that was the most stressful moment of the day. The last test was the x-ray. We went into a big van parked in a parking area to get x-rays taken. When I was putting clothes on after I was done, one of the girls who was also in the changing area said someone had left a bra pad there. Uh-oh. There's a section of the company that handles lost and found, and they usually take a photo of the left item and send out an email to everyone with the photo attached. I wonder how they're going to handle this item. That is a very good question.
I don't recall ever seeing a
I don't think I
bra
saw
pad.
the email for the bra pad either.
me
But
neither.
that's a good point. Like that's what they do, right? Whenever someone
Yeah.
loses something, it's very much a picture of the item. And I've never seen a picture of a bra pad. So, God, you think they just threw it away? The poor woman who forgot her bra pad. You
I don't know. Maybe it wasn't important. Maybe it was just like, you know what, today I'm going free.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe it was just like, you know what, we're going commando today. Is that a thing for women?
I don't know. Can you use that for
I don't
women?
have no
Like,
idea.
You know what going commando is?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, of course she
There you
does.
go. There you go.
But I remember like someone was like telling me a story about a sandwich. Like someone left a sandwich somewhere and found it and took it to the lost and found.
A sandwich.
A sandwich,
Yeah.
the lost and found sandwich.
And they sent out an email.
Did somebody
to
collect the
everyone.
sandwich?
Well, I don't know, but the email said they used the same template for the message, and they said they'll keep the item for 30
We'll
days.
keep that.
Wow.
That's right. I forgot about that. That was a thing.
I don't remember the sandwich.
Keep the sandwich for 30 days. I assume they eventually threw it out unless somebody found it and ate it.
Well, hopefully somebody collected it on day 29. We're going to skip ahead because there's a little bit of a gap here, and we are at date forgotten.
Date forgotten. Ooh, that's my favorite.
Yep, date forgotten. Has been very busy since the morning. By the afternoon, my brain had got totally fried, and I had to leave my desk and get some air. Ran into Pete when I was walking outside the building. He said hi and continued, "You look like you're moving in slow motion." He was right. I had turned into a sloth when I'm tired. That's how I usually am on Saturday morning as well. I'm going to go ahead and read the next one as well, because there's two, and then there's
more?
the final one.
Okay, right on.
10/10, so we're now at October
We're
10th.
in October, okay.
Been busy for the last month or so. I don't usually do this, but today I came to work a bit early to get a head start on the day. Normally I don't do
I don't
this.
usually come into work early, but when I do.
No. Sent out a few emails, and when I saw my inbox, there was one email that stood out. The subject line read, company name, MS, number 0 items, YYYY, MMDD.
Oh, yeah.
Ouch. Yesterday, I created an email template so I could save time writing up the same type of email. I used the template for the first time today and forgot to change the subject line. Should have had some coffee before starting the day. I thought of retracting the email, but Troy pointed it out, and it would draw more attention to that email since the recipients would get a notification stating I'm trying to retract the email. So the option left for me was to not do anything. The guy I sent the email to was so nice that he fixed the subject line and he replied to me, not saying a word about the error. Oh well, it's not as bad as sorry for the incontinent this may have caused.
Incontinence.
So I'll live. I guess that was that.
I've done
form
that,
mistake.
but I did that before too. I know.
Yeah.
We were talking
You
this
talked
yesterday.
about incontinence.
Who doesn't? Yeah, but I've done that before too with the template thing. Accidentally sending out an email and forgetting to actually put that in there. Yeah, that's why I made a macro to do that for myself, so I can just press a button and it does it for me.
That sounds really awesome.
It is. It was pretty sweet.
Well,
It was
former
pretty sweet.
programmer, so
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. These days I don't need to use it because
our emails are never the same.
Exactly. Now her emails are never the same.
Pretty much not really possible to set a template.
Yeah, there's no way. There's no way. My job is a lot of talking to people now, and then writing up an email based on that. Happens a lot. All right.
Last entry.
Move on to October 11th. October 11th, 2019. I realize there's a mistake I repeatedly make. When I try to type the word shift, my hands always skip F. Maybe this is a result of my bad hand-eye coordination. Have to be careful this doesn't get into anything that goes outside the company. Good call.
So wait a minute.
Good
Has this
call.
gone anywhere in the company?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
So you always catch it. So you write it, and then what? Do you like look at your email before you send it out? You're like, oh, it says shit here.
Well, it happens mostly when I'm translating like design briefs. So it's usually not in the email.
Right. So
yeah.
instead, you're like, hey,
wait.
take a look at this design. Shit.
Wait, so it doesn't go out. It doesn't go outside of the company because when you translate those design briefs,
Well, as
translate them
far
into
as
English.
I know it hasn't.
I see. It may have. You may have written something like shit the eye 3 pixels to the left.
Yeah.
Something like that. I think anybody would pick it up though and go, that's just a mistake.
But it would still give
But
you
if
a
she does it
giggle.
all the time, then maybe people just think that
She
Capcom
doesn't know how to
doesn't
spell
know
shift.
the word shift. Either that or they're probably really confused, like, what is shitting an eye to the left mean? What is,
Do I literally have to do
I
that?
literally that can't be right. Fair enough. That
All
happens,
right.
that happens to all of us, though. I don't even want to know what it's like to read my Japanese. I'm sure that...
Yeah, I try to avoid writing Japanese at all costs. But I kind of can't, so.
Yeah, we've been working here long enough. Yeah, it kind of has to happen. Yeah, well, that was good. Thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you very much, Maki. It was a pleasure to have you back.
can't wait to
Thank you for
Hopefully
having
everyone,
me.
everyone is
More.
happy with our scatological humor today. And
Looking forward to hearing more about the bikes.
yeah.
The bike.
Yeah, the bikes.
The bike. I mean, so you can ride straight. Does that mean that what if you just like went out there, rode straight, and every time you had to turn, you could just stop, get off the
Yeah.
bike, turn the bike, and
Yes.
then we
Yeah.
could do that. Yeah.
That would take a long time to get you anywhere.
Oh, well, faster than walking.
Okay, fair enough.
True enough.
Maybe 1.5 times.
It really depends. We'd have to time it. We're gonna have to test this.
We will.
Excellent. And that's what the gift.
Okay, and with that, I think we should end. We're unfortunately on the sick side, Matt and I.
Yeah, we should
so
get some
we
rest.
don't have as high of energy as we should. But again, thanks everyone for tuning in. You can find us at dev1_official. Thanks, Matt.
Right. You got it.
And where can I find you, Matt?
I guess I'm on the Twitters as Gypsy Otoko.
And I am P. Fabiano. And Maki, do you want to give out your Twitter or Instagram or anything?
I don't have anything.
No, you like to keep it. You're off the grid.
Incognito.
I really don't have an
Okay.
That's
account.
good. Stay off the grid. It's dangerous out there.
Yep. The Matrix.
All right. Thanks a lot, guys. And again, please be sure to subscribe, and we hope you keep listening. Thanks a lot.